Well, my enlightenment meditation teacher of a particular tradition, which I'm not going to mention any religions today, but you can guess which one it is. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh, and he told a story once of needing to pee in the forest, because there's no public bathrooms out there usually. Well, he stood in front of a beautiful tree, and he was about to pee, and then he realized this tree is a sacred being, an expression of the universe, and I just can't disrespect it by peeing on this tree. So he walked over to a bush nearby, and he was about to pee there, and then he realized, this bush is just as sacred as that tree. I just couldn't possibly pee on it and disrespect it. So then he goes over to a big rock nearby. Same thought. I can't pee. Well, he's really needing to pee really right now. Then he thought about it. And he realized, you know what? Even my pee is sacred. And so he released with relief and a smile. It's true. Everything is sacred. And as we're doing our activism work, we need to remember that everything is sacred. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Because this world is sacred. This planet is sacred. The environment is sacred. The climate is sacred. And we are all sacred. And the animals are sacred. Everything in this world is sacred. Even I wasn't going to say that. But even our political opponents or religious opponents or whoever, they are sacred too. And we need to do our activism in such a way that everyone feels included. Because if we're really, really angry, are they going to really hear what you have to say, or are they just going to see your anger and feel fear? What happens when you feel fear? Do you open your heart, or do you close it? Usually close it. So we want to try to do our activism in such a way that we're not going to create anger and fear, but rather an open heart. Because that's what we want. We want an open-hearted response so that everyone is included and everyone realizes that we are all sacred, and that's what we're all about. A few years ago when I first went to my first meditation retreat, and by the way, the reason why I'm talking about meditation in this, other people have been talking about the political and other kinds of angles on this issue, but I really see this as a spiritual issue too. We're not just political beings, we're not just physical beings, we're also thinking beings, emotional beings, psychological beings, spiritual beings, emotional beings, right? Sexual beings too. Some of us like that really well. Okay. So, my topic is we need to take care of the environment by taking care of the environmentalist. You see, if we burn ourselves out with too much discouragement, anger, fear, burnout, we won't be very, very useful in the activism. So we need to take care of ourselves. Every day we need to come back and remember why we're doing this, what we're doing it for, and where the energy comes from to do the work we're doing. If it just comes from our individual self, we're going to burn out real quick. But if we realize that the energy to do what we do comes from this universe, comes from the earth, comes from our collective wisdom, then there's more energy there. So anyway, a few years ago, I went to my first meditation retreat in France at a big retreat center with Thich Nhat Hanh leading it. And it wasn't the first retreat I had gone to, but it was the first one I went to across the ocean. And it was a wonderful experience for 2 weeks. And I remember on the third day or fourth day, we were practicing eating meditation. And by the way, meditation, I don't like that word, because a lot of people don't even know what it means. It's not going, It's not that at all. And it's not zoning out. It's not trying to get an out-of-body experience. It's about very much an in-the-body experience. It's not about escaping the world. It's about engaging the world. You see? And so I'm going to call meditation, instead of calling it meditation, I'm going to call it mindfulness empowerment process. You like that? I came up with it last night. I think it's kind of cool. All right. A few years ago, I went to this mindfulness empowerment process retreat, and we did sitting meditation. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Sitting meditation, walking meditation, eating meditation, all kinds of different kinds of meditations. In fact, even art meditation. So we were doing eating meditation at lunch on the third or fourth day of the retreat, and all of a sudden, I just looked up from the food I was eating because I was chewing it slowly, feeling the texture, the temperature, the taste, reflecting on where it comes from, the earth, etc. And then I looked up at the people around me at the table, and they were so peaceful. And I began to feel joy because they were so peaceful. And then I looked outside, and the trees were swaying in the wind, the sun was streaming through the leaves of the trees, and the children were laughing with their parents outside as they were eating outside. And my heart just opened. I had my first great opening experience of the heart through this meditation practice. And I mean, I can't really explain it in words to you. I just hope you have a few of these experiences because it's so wonderful. It reminds you of what this is all about. My heart opened because I realized that just as I was eating this food and being nourished by the food, later on I would be nourishing microorganisms in the bathroom. And just as my friends here were nourishing me with their mindful presence, hopefully I was nourishing them also by my mindful presence. And just as the trees outside were nourishing the animals and humans with the oxygen, we, humans and animals, were nourishing the trees and the vegetation with the carbon dioxide. And just as the children were being nourished by the mindful adults that were very safe to be around at that retreat center, the children were nourishing the adults by their reminders to be playful. They were all children of the universe. Don't take it so seriously. And so I just realized the whole universe is just nourishing one another. It's all about giving and receiving. The whole universe is eating meditation. I mean, that's how I kind of felt during that moment. But it's true. Everything in the universe is about giving and receiving, sharing. And you know, for those of you, raise your hand if you're from a Christian background, real quick. Okay, a lot of you, most of you. Well, you know, what's interesting is meditation has helped me to understand the teachings of spiritual teachers of history and around the world, including the teachings of Jesus. When Jesus said, you know, this is my body, this is my blood, take this, I realized in meditation what he really meant. That the body and the blood, or the substance and essence of divine activity, is sharing, is giving. See, it's all about sharing and giving. That's what this world is about. So we humans, we can't think that we're the only species and only give to ourselves. That's not the way the universe works. We need to remember that we're part of a larger web of life. That it's a web of life that's all about sharing, giving, and receiving. Without both the giving and the receiving, we're out of balance with the universe. And when we're out of balance with the universe, well, you know, this is what we get. The situation we're in today. So the universe is calling us to come to rebalance, to come back to harmony, to come back to our true nature.